Hi everybody, Sagittarius998 Adam here, and I'm going to do the second part, or just another part of the introduction to South America. So I'm going to do Colombia, and with Colombia, right off the bat, you see, let's actually look at the street view, you see there's not that much of Colombia actually mapped. Most of it is down the spine, which is where the mountains are. A little bit here, flatter area, but most of the jungle is unmapped. Most of the jungle actually doesn't feature any roads either. And then you get some flat area up there. So, going back to this, you can immediately rule out eastern Colombia if it's on a road. But it's not, then it could be anywhere. Not that. Terrain, rather. Andes. Yep, they're there. Right down here, for some reason also near Valledupar. I'm not really sure, but they're there. And then sort of, certain valleys. Bogota is in the valley. There's a valley down here. There's a valley by Cali. Not really by Medellin. I mean, there is, but it's small. So right off the bat, you see there's mountains here. If you see mountains, it's only in this part. So if it's flat, combining the two layers together, if it's flat, then you can only be around Barranquilla, or you can be east of Bogota. Statistically, you're more likely to be near Barranquilla because there's much more street view there than there is here. You can also be in this part near Tumaco, which I've been to a couple times. Ventura, that makes more sense, Ventura. Quibdó, these areas, I guess, are also pretty flat, although I don't think I've ever been placed there. So, with that, I'm going to jump into a challenge, a Colombia challenge by William Javier Alvarado. Thank you for creating this, and we can start, and hopefully we'll get some different regions of Colombia. Okay, we're in a city. One thing to note about Colombia, Colombia has license plates on the side of their cars, like this. So, what this means is that you can often, here you can't because it's too far, but, the car wasn't here. So, not all trucks have it, and taxis have it. The reason why, I don't really know. I think it's because Colombia, if you know anything about Colombian history, they had a lot of conflicts with the cartels back in the 90s, and what I think was an issue was kidnapping. So they have that license plate, so you can see it on all four sides of the car. So if something happens, there's more visual contact towards the license plate, and people can report something that happened. That's just my theory. I have no idea if that's why there's license plates on the side, but considering passenger cars don't have it, it's quite possible. And the nice thing is, these are usually not blurred. Here it's just blurry because it's far away, but if you're right next to one, it's not blurred out, usually. Here it is, but many times it's not, which is actually very nice. So we're in Ciudad Bolívar. Polideportivo Ciudad Bolívar. Unfortunately, Ciudad Bolívar is very much a common name, I would presume. I mean, there's so much stuff with Bolivar in South America that, I've never heard of it. But it's Floridablanca. Also haven't heard of that, but that's apparently where we are based on the taxi cab. So, one thing, taxis are much better to look at than heavy trucks. Light trucks maybe, but heavy trucks especially. Because taxis will stay within the city, more or less. I mean, sure, you can go between cities in a taxi, but generally, that taxi is from the city that we're in. Meanwhile, a truck can go from anywhere in Colombia. So now the question is, where's Ciudad Bolívar? Let's see what this. Oh, Bucaramanga. Okay. I do know where that is. There it is. And there's Floridablanca. So that's what it is. It's Floridablanca, which is apparently a suburb of Bucaramanga. So the question is, where are we? Calle Carrera, no, I don't think it's Calle 65. Oh, Carrera is that, so it's Calle 65 and Carrera 2. Carrera 5, I don't see 2. Oh, 1, 3, of course. There's no 2. Well, the 65, meanwhile, is going to be north, right? Well, I don't know, actually. 46 in here. Is this still, it is. 36. I also don't see a 65. So perhaps it's not. Maybe it's in Bucaramanga. 56, 65. I might be getting somewhere with this, and not anymore. Well, there's still Calle 65. And Carrera 3. Wow. A little confusing. Let's continue down this road, which is... we don't actually know what this is. It's this, Calle 64. I mean, there's 1. Then that's 5. We're somewhere in here. It's just a question of where exactly. Because I see 1 and 3 everywhere. In both cities, just 1 and 3. No 2. For some reason, there's no 2 that I can see. There's some sort of church. So, you know, if you didn't look at the license plates, what could you tell about the landscape? Not too much, because there's not really much visible. You're in a big city, so your best bet is license plates. But in other places, your best bet would be to look at the landscape and decide. Here it looks sort of standard Colombian urban area, but, you know, you can see mountains, for example. I mean, mountains are to the east. I mean, we're in a valley. Mountains are kind of to the east everywhere, but if you're in Barranquilla, I mean, maybe you would see the mountains, but not as much, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, we need to go, let's go this way. This way might have some information. There is. It's Calle 55, which would be here. Okay. Or this one, perhaps. And Carrera 4, which of course doesn't exist. Because why would it exist? 105. So let's go back down to this other Florida Blanca. 55. Calle 55. Well, there's no 55. So I think we are in Bucaramanga. It's just the taxis are registered in Florida Blanca for some reason. Not exactly sure why, but they are. What's this? It's 8. It's the corner of 55 and 8. So we know where 55 is. 55 continues through here. 56. 55 is this. We need 8. 7, 8. There's 8. There's no 55. There's 55, but no 8. 53. 64 and 8. Well, can I get to I'm on 8 then. Can I get to 64 going this way? I mean, no, because that's not 60. Which is this one. So the next one is 61. Except, probably not for some reason, because that, I don't know how the roads work in this town. They should, it's just, for some reason, there's several, iterations of each of these places. So it's Las Margaritas. Well, there's Margarita, but that's a store. I don't know. There's something strange. I mean, also, look, we know what really how to figure this out. It's just there's something weird with the town. Let's what was the start by? Let's go north. Escape the madness that was the other direction. and maybe there'll be something in here. If not, then I'm just gonna guess. This isn't about perfection. I'm not competing against anyone. I'm trying to introduce you to Colombia, and I don't really think pinpointing for 15 minutes is really what's gonna interest you. Not interest you, but help you succeed in Colombia. It's calle 60, which is Avenida Los Bucarados. Los Bucaros. Bucaros? I guess, yeah. I don't know. What's on the other side of this roundabout? Nothing. There's a pedestrian bridge. I mean, we're in downtown. We are in downtown. I don't know. The 60 doesn't even continue anywhere. It continues here. And then that's it. I don't know. I guess. Oh, off by a little bit. We were right here. Okay, so we went on 63. No, we went south. Yeah, in this way. 63. We came to the roundabout. Went this way. There is Carrera 2. And calle all of these places. And then Carrera 8 Este. I don't know how I didn't see that, but because I was focused down here, I think. Yeah, I was focused down here. 65 and then up through 60 in here. Okay. Yeah, so we were close. I mean, off by 15 points because it's close scaling, but you know, just really off by a block. It's not bad at all. This one's going to be harder. So, right off the bat, you see a couple of things. It's flat, no mountains, which means it could be here, it could be here. It's two options, here or here. Now, I actually know where this is because I've looked at this in making a challenge previously, and I believe it was kind of a dead end, but let's see, hopefully I can get something out of this. If not, then, you know, I can demonstrate certain things. So, you see, it is flat, it's tropical. You know, right now there's not really much more to go off of, but hopefully we can get to a larger road. I'm actually going to go back to that. I'm not sure what that was. Where was it? Was it by this tree? No, it was by that other one, maybe? Yeah, it was. 196. Oh, it's just a gas canister or something. So, that's not important. So we're in like a plantation kind of thing. And now, you know, the imperative is to get to a main road. I mean, just like anywhere else. Okay, so right here, there's something. Aldanagro. I don't know if that's really a place. I don't think it's a place. Certainly not one that I know, and so I'm not going to look for that. Yep, so what this instantly says, as much as this is tropical, the reason why I put my marker here is because it seems more like this as a result of, if I look at this, independently of anything else, I'm thinking it looks like Brazil a little bit. And when I say it looks like Brazil, I'm thinking it looks kind of like equatorial, you know, the Amazon, which extends down and through here. You can't be here, so maybe we're over in here, in that flat part in the east. Are we? I'm not sure. It's going to be time to find out, hopefully soon. But yeah, this part, there's a couple, because like up in here, it's sort of dry. It's semi-arid to arid. Meanwhile, down in through here, you get more wetter tropical area. Because this is the Llanos, I think it's called, and it's kind of like a little desert, mini desert. Well, I see here, you can see lush vegetation. It's not desert, it's much more Amazonian-like. I was just seeing something. Okay, we're getting into something. This might just be like a kind of a, yeah, it's plantación. It's a little bit like, it's like a fazenda, but it's not a fazenda because it's not Brazil. Basically, is what this is. It's a plantation. Okay, yeah, so Colombia can be difficult. For sure, Colombia can be difficult. It's the problem with Colombia is often that you can be placed on small roads. You know, there's plenty of roads. This is not a good example because there's no roads. But even in the mountainous regions, you can be placed on roads like this. This is a big road, goes from here to here. It has no number and no indication, possibly. So that's often the problem with Colombia. Once you get to the main road, it's usually fine. But you need to know where to look for the road number, because it's not so obvious. You won't see this shield, this little U.S. highway style shield. You won't see that on the roads. You have to know where to look. Oftentimes, you know, like myself, oftentimes if there's distance markers, that works better than anything else, especially when it comes to pinpointing. And it will usually tell you the road, basically. Anyway, okay, so we have pavement. We have pavement. It's not the place that I thought it was initially. I mean, well, it might be. It might still be here, but it's not that place that I looked at, because there was one road that I looked at before for making a challenge for someone, and it was a dead end on both sides, so I was worried. But this doesn't look like that road, so I don't think that one had pavement at any point. And so I see asphalt is a great sign. Hopefully this means a big road is coming up soon. Mountains to the north. To the northwest. Which means that we might be on one of these roads that are leading out to the 65. That way you've got mountains right past the 65 and through here, which would be those. Is it? I don't know. There's a plane coming in for landing. Is there an airport? Must be. Hold on, let me see this. Actually, a couple frames back. Did I move that far? Where's the airplane? I know this isn't the goal of it. Yeah, there it is. There it's coming in. I think this is kind of cool to look at. Yeah, there must be an airport there. Okay, sure. Why not? Yeah, so right here, the mountains are a big clue right now, because they're indicating, certainly they're indicating west to northwest, which would in large part eliminate this area, because I was thinking, okay, maybe it could be Barranquilla as well, obviously, because it's flat, but there's no mountains to the west when you're here. There's mountains to the east, but there's no mountains to the west. So I feel like I have the right area, but who knows? Okay, so there's a bridge, some gravel, but we're back to pavement. We're back to pavement. Good sign. Curve this is. It's quite lengthy, this road. There's a reason why the average score for this challenge was so low. I believe it was 9,000 points. We're not going to get 9,000 points. We're going to get much higher than 9,000 points, because I'm going to figure where this is. In general terms, at least, I'm not going to bother with super pinpointing this. Here we go. We're on a big road. That's the, I mean, that was more than 3 kilometers, though, but yeah, that's the other place. Okay, so here we go. We're on a big road. Now, what you can look for. A couple of things. You see a marker right down there. 9165A02. What that means is the first digit is what you look for. What you look for is 65, which is right here. A02 means it's the second segment. as far as I know. I don't know how the segments are divided, so it doesn't help. But what you do know is you're on the 65. The 65 is not that big. It goes from Villavicencio to Paz de Ariporo, a little bit past Hato Corozal. And we're on kilometer 91. So now, probably the best thing to do, since I don't see a distance marker, the motion's a little clunky here. Actually, I'll go back to the ambulance. So yeah, now we're on a big road. It's not an ambulance actually, but there is a license plate. It's Acacias. Is that a city here? No, it's not. So that doesn't help. So now I need to go another kilometer and see, are the kilometers increasing? Because if they are, that means I'm 91 kilometers from the east, since I'm going, yeah, I'm definitely going west. Well, south to west. So if they're increasing, I'm on the eastern/northern end. If they're decreasing, then the opposite. So for example, here's a Alto de la Bodega. There's a little viewpoint. So 89, which means I went 2 kilometers. So the further south, the lower, which means I'm probably down in here. 89. You think this is 89? It might be. By Yopal, Agua Azul. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna go a little bit further. But the big thing is, in Colombia, like you saw, you can't look at, you're not going to see that shield. You're going to see that stone marker right on the side. And that's going to be your lifesaver when you're on these big roads. Usually, the best thing, obviously, is a chicken. 2 chickens. Maybe a rooster. The big thing is also going to be looking for distance markers. If it says you're 80 kilometers outside of Bogota, well, you know, and in the other direction, you're heading towards, I don't know, Medellin, then you know you're going to be on one of these roads, and then it's much easier to pinpoint where you are. The reason why I'm going here is because not only was that bodega thing, that viewpoint, there's also some stuff going on. I'm going to look at the license plate. The license plate isn't too helpful here because we know what road we're on. I mean, it's Servicio Público de Guamal. Yeah, again, like, that's not a city here. So, it's not helpful. That's an election campaign. I guess we didn't go 2 kilometers yet, so we can continue on. We've got some civilization happening. Which makes you think I can narrow this down at least to maybe even what road I came out of, which would be great. Just to Inicio Zona Peatonal. Okay, so we got a town here. Small town. That's the end of the town, so don't blink. Basically. Piscina Cabanas. Okay. I'm just gonna look at, so that says Meta, which is the province. Actually, it's not. Hold on, that's a little strange. Is it Meta? Meta's down south or somewhere. I don't know actually where Meta is. I'm gonna ignore Meta. Yeah, it's Route 65, Trocha. It does say Arana Meta. Hold on, I'll look into that. Maybe I've got something really wrong with the 65. Ooh, the 65 continues down here. Yeah, it does. Acacias Guamal. There's Guamal. We were looking at Acacias. I think I came out of this road then. San Isidro de Chichimene, maybe? What does Guamal look like? No, Uribe. San Juan de Arama. Arama. So there's Arama. Which would mean I would be maybe in Canaguaro. Alto de la Bodega is that. Trocha 7. Yeah. Somewhere in here. Wow, I didn't notice that the 65 actually continued that far south. We're somewhere here. I guess the creek runs parallel. I don't know what we're doing. We were further than this. We're like down here. But right idea. Yeah, the other road. Right idea. See, I didn't look that the 65 actually was the 65A that we came to. Oh yeah, because it says 65A02. It was the 65A, not 02 was a segment. So normally what you would see is 45-02, for example, and that would be second segment. So here, it's 65A was the road, and then, yeah, I just didn't realize actually Colombia did A roads, or it just means alternate, because this is the actual 65, which goes down through here, and then this sort of the end of street view coverage, but it was a nice location. And something that you saw, definitely Northwest Mountains were a huge clue, and then that's 65, and Arama. I've never been in this part of Colombia before. I don't think I've been in the Meta province, but not in this part. So as you saw, you know, that sign was big, for sure. The Meta one as well. You need to know the provinces. The provinces will come up. And the good thing is you can zoom in and look for them. If you see something like here, Meta, I wasn't sure Meta, so I zoomed in, there's Meta. So now, third round, considering it's been extremely long already. Well, okay. So we've got a couple of things. It looks a little bit almost Brazilian. Well, the last time, but this looks like completely this part of Brazil. So I'm not sure where this is, but what you see immediately is it's flat. So, you know, maybe it's here, over here, up in here, here. It could also be down over in here again. So let's continue along. Yeah, now this looks more Colombian. At the beginning, it's very dry, which is my first observation. So I'm not looking at the trucks because the trucks aren't going to be very helpful. It's right now, you know, if I see one of those stone markers, that's going to be the helpful part. This certainly looks like a national road to me. And Google is passing the truck apparently. Here we go. There's one of the stone markers. There's actually water to the north, so we're along the coast. On the 9007, which means we are on the 90. The 90A? No, the 90. The 90 begins there, along the Venezuelan border, goes to Rio Hacha. This is a likely possibility. It goes right along the coast. How close are we to the coast? Literally there, about 500 feet. This is an even bigger possibility, considering the fact that this is... Yeah, I like this, actually, a lot. This is the 90A, so... Yeah, the 90 comes back through in here. But I like that other spot, that little peninsula. I like that. Or not peninsula, it's an isthmus, kind of. Yeah, it's an isthmus. So, you know, you see a lot of things. Immediately, you know, you saw combination. You see flat, you see water to the north, and you see 90, you know, and the water is straight north, which kind of eliminates this stuff in here. Which means I'm very happy with this guess. Enough so that I think I'll make it. But yeah, you definitely saw water north, mountains, or lack of mountains rather, and the 90, you immediately can pinpoint it's this part of Colombia. So those stone markers are incredibly helpful, as well as simply analyzing the terrain. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is go back to the start. It's in a really straight section. And you also don't see water from the start, but it's close by. This seems a little likely. Maybe I started in here. I'll guess that. Nope, I should have stayed where I was, actually, right there. But same thing. Again, you know, we barely had to move. Immediately when you saw the 90, I could analyze the landscape, and there we were. Obviously, if I were trying to pinpoint this, I would have probably gone, surely I would have gone further. I don't know if in that direction, looking at the fact that Tasajeras would definitely be closer, I would have probably gone the other way, but yeah, very, very nice location. Okay, out in the middle of nowhere again. And here, you see mountains. Even from the start, you see mountains over there. So now, like, what's this guy's license plate? Facatativa. I don't know where that is. It's a city. Or a town. So what you see is mountains to the north, as well as mountains to the south, I think. There's a taxi. This should be big. It's Colombia, it's Santa Marta is what it is. Okay, so then you look at it and you think, well, where's Santa Marta? And there it is, right in the north again. Mountains to the north, mountains to the south. Maybe this, but quite possibly not at all. Or by a river. Santa Marta doesn't strike me as the best place for it, but you do see there's a bit of a deserty feel to it again. Last round you had that too. It wasn't really desert, but it was sort of this scrubland, just like this. It's a little bit of a semi-arid kind of landscape. Like, you know, last time it's not desert. There's palm trees. You know, it's not a desert, but it's semi-arid. It's like Arizona. Well, Arizona's more a desert, really, actual desert. It's more like Texas. Just some scrubland, but you have some tropical features as well. So that's what the north in many parts of Colombia looks, especially very close to the coast, which solidifies my theory of that this may very well actually be Santa Marta. It's definitely, the actual location isn't a flat stretch, and so you know, accordingly, there's only a couple places that we could be, as we've seen before. I'm not convinced that I'm going in the right direction, but I feel like I am. I am, because this is main road. D is what we came out of. I'm not sure about that designation. So, you know, what do you look for first? Of course, stone marker. So wait until the closest stone marker, and then we're going to have some good stuff. There's a bridge. I think there was a marker there. I missed? Indeed. It's 4518. Okay, so there's the 45. Okay, so I'm going to need more, because 45 is huge. It goes from the Ecuadorian border up to Barranquilla. Now, the fact that it said Santa Marta on that taxi, you know, I'm thinking 34, so we're 34 kilometers from the northern part, so we're somewhere around Fundación in here. Actually, in here. We're along a river, maybe, no, it's not that. But we're somewhere in there, actually, is my guess. But again, now we know the general area, Santa Marta plus that 45, and we're in business. Nice thing about this road is we should be able to come to some sort of town, or something that will allow us to figure out where we started exactly. Like, see right here, there's already a town, there's an intersection here. Yeah, this one. I've actually been here before in Geoguessr, because I was coming down this road, I was like, this looks a little familiar. I've been in this exact spot before, not on that small road, but this spot, right in here, Magdalena, which is actually, I don't know where it is. Is it this one? By Fundación, and then we actually maybe started on this road? That'd be interesting, because we're not down there. What does this indicate? This indicates nothing. yeah, so coming down south, this is, for example, okay, so see this. Bosconia is in 65. There's Bosconia, and Valledupar is there, which is in 155, because then you exit off at Bosconia. Which means that we're 65 kilometers from there. Looking at the other direction, you can tell it's 62 to Ciénega, which is that. And then the turnoff is for Fundación, which means that legitimately, I think I started on this road. And some curve stuff. I feel like I didn't. Maybe I did, but like, well, it's in here somewhere. Or by the water, I don't really, oh, maybe here. I'm gonna go with that. Nope, much closer. 7.3 kilometers. But yeah, okay, so what you saw there, you saw the two biggest ways to identify location in Colombia. The stone marker, which I'm emphasizing probably about 15 times, but it's your biggest thing in Colombia. And then the distance markers, which allowed me to pinpoint. I could tell I was heading off to Fundación as well, because that was indicating that. And I was between Ciénaga and Bosconia. And then, you know, right next to Fundación. And then we got the right road, just the wrong spot. And then last round, we're actually in a city. Right off the bat, I'm actually thinking Bogota. I don't know why, but I am. Actually, I think it's a little too tropical for Bogota. It's Avenida Simón Bolívar. That's not helpful, as we saw last time, but the taxi cabs are helpful, if we ever get to them. Of course, there's no taxi cabs on this side. Taxi cab says, I don't know. Are you on the same lane as all the taxis? Apparently, yes. Here's one on the other side. Unfortunately, it's slightly blurred. But there's a lot of taxis to go on, so you know, we can also look at shops. So it says Buenaventura. Okay. Is that a suburb of Bogota? No, it's not. Okay. But that says nothing, because as we saw last time, the taxis, as much as they are helpful, they could be registered somewhere close to the city or whatever. That it just depends on where they're registered, but sometimes they can be very good clues. Sometimes not as much. What do we see, you know, here in terms of landscape? Not too much, again, because it's an urban area. There's not too much you can see. Yeso del Mar. Del Mar? Is there one? Are we in Barranquilla? It could be, actually. That would be a little unfortunate, just because we've been in the north so many times. You won't even see the mountains and stuff. There are mountains to the east. I mean, there's mountains to the east here, but I don't know about that. Buenaventura. That's Buenaventura. For sure. Oh, there it is, Buenaventura. Oh, you know, I was like, I've heard of Buenaventura before. Yeah, so we saw flat and mountains to the east. Mountains to the east, flat. I've never been in this part of Colombia, which is why it threw me off. So I started somewhere by Simón Bolívar, which is probably the main road. It's actually unlabeled, but I went this way. I think I went this way. Yeah, I did. I went this way. Not that far, though. Did I jump across the thing? I don't know, actually. We're somewhere in here. No, up in this part. Or down in this part. Okay, yeah. That meant to be 5 stars. 23,727. This was not about the result. This was about getting you acquainted with Colombia. And I think it did a decent job of doing that. Unfortunately, we weren't placed in the center, enough so that I'm actually going to do that right now. I'm going to do that right now, and so, you know, a place in the mountains is going to look like this. You've got mountains. This is a somewhat typical look, and you follow the same exact things. I mean, it doesn't matter that we were placed in the mountain. You know how mountains look like. I've explained everything. Like, yeah, this, sure. You do the same exact thing. Stone marker, look for the distance markers, and you can nail down Colombia pretty well. So hopefully this was educational, and I'm going to move on to the next country, whatever that might be. I don't remember, but I'm going to do all of South America that shows up in Street View. So until next time, see you.